Welcome to the first episode of Rebel History, Plato's Twin. This is going to be a fun one, which all of you could go verify or dispute for yourselves. The data is out there, but there might be differences in the interpretation of this data. I am choosing a very specific interpretation, which would only be possible if the Scaliger-Petavius timeline is in dispute, which I believe it is. Now we will get back to Scaliger chronology later on more extensively, probably in episode 3, but for now we will just focus on Plato. You can also read the article on rebelhistory.substack.com with the relevant sourcing. So we all know Plato. If we haven't read him, we've heard of him. But how many of us have heard or read Platon, or Plato as he has also been called? I myself read Republic when I was still in university, and over the years I became much more familiar with Plato. Especially the concept of idealism is something I often ponder about, but Platon was new to me. The notion conform conventional history is that Plato lived in the 4th century BC and his texts survived for 2400 years. Plato is considered one of the foundational thinkers of the West. He was the founder of the Platonic Academy, and his philosophy became known as Platonism. He's most known for the theory of forms and his dialogues, which include works like Politeia, also known as Republic or the State, and Nomoi, which is known as the Laws or the Book of Laws. Platon, or Plato, lived in the 14th century and was a chief pioneer in regards to the revival of Platonism, and was considered a Neoplatonist. Platon influenced Cosimo de' Medici, who was the founder of the Medici banking family, to establish the new Platonic Academy in Florence. This, in turn, became the source of the Renaissance in Europe. Platon is also known for writing the books Nomoi, the Book of Laws, and a version of Politeia, which is known as Republic. Mind you, these are considered his own works and not mere translations of Plato. Platon is also known for reintroducing the geography of Strabo to the Western world. Now, what is interesting about this is that this work had been lost to the Western world and was cited by Christopher Columbus as a principal authority when he set out and discovered the Americas. Allegedly. Now, it is relevant to note that Platon's version of Republic, or Politeia, did not survive until the present and was allegedly burned. Now, this is very strange, as Plato's version did survive while Platon's works did not. So basically, Plato's version not only survived the book burnings of the Dark Ages, but also the many wars and periods of instability when Platonism went into obscurity. Also keep in mind that papyrus has a duration of only several decades in European conditions. If we assume the original texts to have been written on papyrus, it would have been very extraordinary for them to have survived for 200 years, let alone 1,000+ years. Everything which is supposedly from Plato and has not survived in its original form, but either in an edited, copied, or translated version, most of which stem from the 14th and 15th century. I myself was unable to find any original document written by the ancient Plato himself. The search result on Google states that 250 manuscripts of Plato have survived. This is not entirely true, as these are all translations or copies, and these copies do not have a date written on them conform our dating system. And many of those ancient papyrus scrolls were discovered only in the 19th century. The oldest documents which I was able to find were the Clark Plateau and the Codex Parisinus 1807. Both these documents are dated to the 9th century. Now my questions here are, who dated these documents and when were they dated? And on the basis of which criteria were these documents dated to the 9th century? Apparently, most of these ancient manuscripts are dated paleographically, meaning the handwriting style of the text is compared with another handwriting style. Now this is a topic too vast to delve in right now, but the main flaw in this method is that it presupposes that the text with which it compares is correctly dated, and thus this is not an independent dating method. If we look at the Clark Plateau, there are a few interesting things. 1. Edward Daniel Clark purchased it from a monastery in 1801 and sold it for £1,000 to the Bodleian Library at Oxford, which is this very interesting and beautiful building over here with these interesting little spires. 2. The manuscript was originally purchased by the monastery from 1382 onwards. These are considered the years that Platon was active. This was about 1800 years after Plato's death. This monastery was located on the Isle of Patmos, which is the same place to which John the Divine was exiled to. 3. The manuscript also contains annotations made by many later hands. What kind of annotations could those be? In conclusion, according to conventional history, all these texts of Platonism and Neoplatonism remained in obscurity up until the 14th and 15th century. The works of Plato basically pop up magically in the 15th century, allegedly kept safe by Muslim and Byzantine scholars for exactly 1800 years, and the wizard who conjured up these works as its main reviver coincidentally had the same name as Plato, Platon. I also found the following image on Reddit. This is from an individual who owns a copy of the work translated by Marsilio Ficino. Now my question here is this from Plato or Platon? It says Platonis. Isn't that simply another description or the plural form of Platon? Both characters went by the same name. If we assume that Professor Anatoly Fomenko and many others are right about the errors in Scaliger chronology, then there is a high probability this character Plato is a phantom duplicate of the philosopher called Platon. What's in a name, right? Fomenko thus makes the case that the works of Nomoi and Politia were actually the works of Platon himself, redacted, misdated, and sent back in the far past with 1800 years, and Plato to have become a phantom duplicate of the 15th century philosopher Platon. The translations which are ascribed to Marsilio Ficino thus are not translations of Plato and Plotinus, but of the work of Platon himself. According to Fomenko, the ones responsible for this falsification, either purposeful or accidental, are Joseph Justus Scaliger and Dionysius Petavius in the 16th and 17th century. Let's sum up the coincidences. Coincidence number 1. Now the first coincidence, obviously, is the name. The name of Platon is very similar to that of Plato. It is not only similar, it is actually the same name. And to make things a little more confusing, Plato was also called Platon in Latin, while Platon was called Plateau. Yeah. Now on Wikipedia, I saw the following sentence. Platon admired Plato so much that late in life, he took the similar meaning name Platon. Now I have been unable to find any source for this so-called admiration or the supposed name change. This statement, at least on Wikipedia, is not sourced, so I believe somebody made it up because it seemed logical to them. The source is only referencing that the name of both Plato and Platon are the same. There is no mention of any reference to a name change or an admiration. The fact is, there is not that much information available anyways about Platon, let alone something so specific like a name change. So I think this statement should be disputed. Coincidence number 2. The second coincidence or interesting fact is that Platon was actually one of the individuals back in the 15th century who was responsible for the revival of Platonism. He also, coincidentally, was of Greek heritage and was considered a Neoplatonist, and thus largely holds the same views and philosophies as Plato. So we have 14th century Plato reintroducing the ideas of 4th century Plato. One would almost think that the 1 before the 4 is a typo or a couple of quick edits or annotations were made. Now, what is important to mention here about the concept of Neoplatonism is that this is purely a distinction in era, not necessarily of changes or significant adjustments in the philosophy of Plato. There are some minor differences which can be argued, but these can be attributed to conceptual language deviations. The main factor which makes a person a Neoplatonist is in what age or era that person lives. If I would now start proselytizing the philosophy of Plato, I would not be considered a Platonist, but a Neoplatonist. Furthermore, Neoplatonism is a term that has been applied after the fact. No Neoplatonist called himself a Neoplatonist. This is insofar a misnomer, as Neoplatonism represents the attempt to revive Plato's philosophy and is not different from it. Coincidence number 3. Now, as mentioned before, just like Plato, Platon wrote a work on the functioning of the state, and thus this is his version of Politeia. He also has his version of nomoi, which also has similarities to Plato's version. My question is the nomoi written by Platon the same work as the nomoi written by Plato, or is it part of the same work? We have a text with the same theme and title and is written by a guy with the same name, occupation and background in the 14th century instead of the 4th century. Coincidence number 4. The fourth coincidence is that Platon is considered one of the founders of the new Platonic Academy in Florence. So the coincidence here is that just like Plato, Platon basically had his own academy as well. Now, it could be argued he was not the founder of the new Platonic Academy, but he simply influenced Cosimo to start the academy. But I also found another source where it is stated that Platon had his own school of esoteric religious philosophy at Mistra. So we can confirm that both Platons had their own esoteric schools. Coincidence number 5. Another funny coincidence or anomaly is the meaning of the word gemistos or gemistus. It is derived from the Latin word geminus, which means and could be translated as double or twin or spitting image. So his name is basically in spitting image of Plato, or Plato's twin, or the second Plato. There might be an argument Platon decided to change his name himself at some point, but as mentioned, I could not find any evidence for this supposed name change. Coincidence number 6. Platon was also a reviver of another Neoplatonist with a very similar name, Plotinus, who was also called Plotin. Plotin is considered the founder of Neoplatonism in the 3rd century AD, a solid 600 years after Plato himself. He is most known for the Enneads and also, just like Plato and Platon, founded his own philosophical school. He was also involved in aiding the emperor with creating a city conform the principles of Plato's Republic. But then, this era of Neoplatonism quickly falls into obscurity after his death and the supposed closing of the academy by Emperor Justinian, only to be revived 1200 years later in the 15th century by Platon. I guess somebody kept those scrolls safe from dust for a very, very, very long time. It should be noted that to the Western world, the name Plotinus did not exist until 1492, when Marsilio Ficino published his translation of the Enneads. 1492 is a very interesting year in which many things happened. So we have Plato, Plato, and Platon. Coincidence number 7. If we apply the 1800-year chronological shift which Professor Anatoly Fomenko has identified with his statistical and astronomical data analysis, we will see that Platon falls under this shift perfectly and lived exactly 1800 years after Plato. I will get back to the 1800-year shift in another episode. The point I'm trying to make is that this 1800-year difference is not some arbitrary number. I feel it is important to mention again, this information of the established chronology of Plato and Platon was largely edited by Joseph Scaliger and Dionysius Petavius in the 17th century, a solid 200 years after Platon lived, and a solid 1400 years after Platon lived, and a solid 2000 years after Plato lived. Allegedly. My question is, how sure can we be that Scaliger and Petavius were correct in their editing and dating of the ancient and medieval world? What is also interesting is that in many artworks, Plato is drawn as a medieval character and not as a toga-wearing ancient classical character. The toga-wearing image seemed to have come later on in the 16th century, during the Renaissance. I remember actually from high school how this phenomenon was often explained, that the medieval artists would often paint characters as themselves and project their own reality onto the painting. But what if the characters in question actually were medieval, and that's why they were painted as they were? Why would that explanation not make sense? Because it would be absurd, right? Now, if you want to know more about this specific topic, please visit and subscribe to the Substack. I have some more arguments written in the article, as this video is now becoming too long, and I think I've made my point. I am also planning to revisit this topic, as the topic is far too vast to conclude in 15 minutes, and I think that there is much more to this than just the chronology issue. You will probably have many questions, such as, what about Aristotle? Or, what about Athens? Or, what about Sparta? Now, these are all questions which will be answered in the upcoming period. For me, when I started with this, every answer I found created 5 new questions. The Substack is fully free to follow, and for you diehards out there, maybe you can find supporting arguments or disputing arguments, as I still have many questions myself. I would like to conclude the episode with a little discussion. What do you guys think? Given the facts, assumptions, and context presented, do you guys think Plato and Platon were the same character? Or would that be something which is absolutely impossible? What would be your strongest arguments in favor or against it? Please keep it a civil discussion and try to refrain from ad hominem attacks or appeals to authority. And please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and Substack. This was episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. We have 11 more to go, and I thank you for your attention.